An attitude of my life belongs to God changes how you approach even good things, even acceptable things, non-sinful things, like your relationship with your phone or other permissible pleasures. It says in Hebrews 12:1, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us." And so he's talking about two things there. He says, let us lay aside every sin, right? So if we're surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, and he's referring to the hall of faith in Hebrews 11, all these great saints who've gone before us who trusted in God's promises, and so they followed him all out. They were flat out their whole life just serving him. Okay, we've got these people. How should we live in light of that? Let's treat it like a race. We're running that race too. And we want to lay aside, we want to get out of our way anything that is in the way of us doing that full on. So some of that's sin. But if you notice, he says it's not just sin, every weight and sin. And I think for some of us, our phones can be one of those weights. And for other people, it might be something different. I wrote a book on video game addiction. That was one of my big issues. Games are fine. They're good. They're fun when enjoyed in moderation. But for me, they became a source of encumbrance to my ability to steward God's time that he's entrusted to me really well. And so if your phone is becoming that for you, then one of the things you need to do is back up and do what we're saying here. Step one, appreciate your high calling, that you're not just here for you, you're here to glorify God with your life, and that should change your attitude. And the immediate thing that's going to change is that should drive you to prayer. I mentioned at the beginning of this episode is sometimes we joke a little bit about phone addiction. We're like, yeah, I'm on my phone more than I should be. Yeah, and I spent the morning scrolling instead of doing what I should have been doing. We think it's funny because it's like relatable. Everybody relates to that. But if you take your calling as a Christian seriously, that hold on, my life belongs to God, I need to steward my time well, then you're going to say, shoot, I might actually be sinning. If I'm actually enslaved, I'm actually one of those 70% of people in the U.S. who claim that they're addicted to their phone, if that actually is true, if I'm actually enslaved to this in the biblical sense, man, I should take that more seriously. Or maybe I need to make some changes, right?